What is up? Hopefully we're doing this for a good reason and all of this actually records and we don't just end up finding out like, oh, well, that was for nothing. But if you're hearing this,
Yeah.
then great. Then great.
Yeah.
So it is just J-Milly and Sajko today.
What's up?
I know the dynamic duo coming at you hot. Ben was very kind and let us know that he wasn't going to be able to make the podcast very last second because he's down in Virginia, and we didn't want to not have you guys like not have an episode again because we 2 weeks ago already took off some time. So here
Yeah.
we are.
We only take vacation for national holidays, not personal. There's no personal holidays on the Funzy podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see who's actually dedicated to the cause. Um, but yeah, dude, what's up? Yeah, any like personal updates, like things going on this week?
um, in terms of disc golf YouTube stuff,
Dude, honestly,
um,
I think it's gonna become like just personal. Like, of course we do disc golf, but like we do way more outside of disc golf than
true, true.
so it's just like one portion of our life. So I think that's gonna leak in regardless. But yeah, whatever you feel
Facts.
like telling.
Well, I'm a Mavs fan, as I've made apparent in at least a few of these episodes. So
What?
I'm in the throes of being down 0-2 to the Celtics. So that's fun. I'm also a Texas A&M fan. If
Mm.
you are watching the video, if we even post a video, I'm wearing a Texas A&M
Yeah.
shirt. We just made the men's College World Series. But so I don't seem like I only vicariously live through sports teams. I also have other stuff going on. And right now I'm in the midst of an edit for a YouTube video where I shot my highest rated round ever. And then on Saturday, I'm playing in a tournament where I'm going to try to get my first MA1 win and make a video about that I'm quite
Dog.
excited about. And then next week, I'm playing in the Glitch World qualifiers. So
Dude, that's so
lots of
exciting.
lots of YouTube stuff. That's the vibes. You know how it be. Also, I freaking posted a short last week on YouTube, and
Mhm.
it's at 5 million views on YouTube already.
Bro, what the heck? That is
Isn't
like
that
mind
wild?
blowing to me. That
Isn't
is
that
mind blowing.
wild? It's the best performing short I've ever had, but the opening shot is just
That's how you
mint.
got them.
Yeah, chef's kiss. It's that ozone video where I do the drone shot at the beginning. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. People love the opening shot and the hook.
Dude, it makes sense. I mean, that's like a big part of like what I'm learning personally is where
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I have like decent skill when it comes to editing, but I don't
Mhm.
understand. I'm not the best at like grabbing people on social media per se. So
Yeah, yeah.
doing stuff for like another round and seeing how good Joseph is at it, because I like with all due respect to Joseph, he's not doing anything crazy per se with his edits, and he'll tell you that. But he's just able to draw people in and make them care about something. And then he'll just kind of be like, yeah, maybe it wasn't like the best thing I could put out, but like I made something out of it and it like blew up. So,
Well, I mean, to go on a tangent, I think Joseph has done a very good job of having like a lot of reels that have exploded and gotten to a bunch of people's eyes that are like
mhm.
insane, crazy aces, whatever. But for his other stuff, it's like consistent, like you know what to expect when you're watching it. So like the hook of most of his videos is like him throwing a disc or whatever, but he set the expectation that that is what you should expect, and then you'll get something if you stay around for it. And
Right.
so like it's not the craziest hook ever, but the people that have watched the videos before know to expect something great. Like he's not going to post something that's like, meh. Like it's not going to, it's
Mhm.
always going to be something good. And so I think he has a depth of audience with his main followers. So those people are always going to give him that like good click through and good retention stats since he set that expectation of a good video every time. And so then that pushes it to a wider audience, and it's just a compounding effect that'll keep going.
Mhm.
But I do think by bringing you in and spicing it up a little bit more, he's helping to do it more sustainably. Because if you always just only post aces, eventually people are going to get tired of that. You know, Dude Perfect had to pivot. Brody Smith had to pivot. One
Yeah.
of them did it great, and one of them,
We don't
not
talk about
so
it. We don't
great.
talk about it.
Yeah. So, um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
we
that's my tangent.
yeah. Oh, hey, that's kind of the beauty of this podcast, man. We could just talk about whatever. I mean, we're gonna keep going down this tangent. Oh, dude, Liquid Death, not sponsored. Shout out.
Not sponsored. I wish
Dude,
sponsored. I
so
love
good.
so good.
Uh, yeah, I think at a point, like with editing, you almost get a level of diminishing returns. So I think you need to be good enough that people can tell what you're doing. But at some
Hmm.
point, it gets so insane where like maybe you're not getting, you'll put so much time into it where that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get back like a bunch of views or like
Yep.
positive results from it. Of
Yep.
course, people, it's
Yep.
always helps to look at, but yeah, at some point, you just have to be like, okay, yeah, this is good enough, and then see how it goes. It's all feeling it
What
out. It's all feeling it out.
I so here we're just gonna keep going on tangents.
Dude,
This
please,
is
that's fine.
we're
That's
we're we're off the rails. We're off the rails. I kind of think that you might be a better editor than me, Sacco.
no,
I
no.
like some of the stuff you've done in some of your reels or for another round. I've been like, I don't think I could do that. What do you edit in?
Okay, so this is what's kind of funny. When I met up with Joseph, he was like, "Dude, what do you edit with?" He's like, "I'm not, he's like, I'm nice. I'm like, I don't try to gatekeep, but this is the one thing that I want to try to gatekeep is like
Oh,
the editor. It's not like that's anything crazy. Like it has its limitations, but I'll just end up saying it here because like I've said it
no, no,
before.
you don't have to, man.
No, it's
Gatekeep it. Gatekeep it.
all right. What I will say is it's just an app. Like I edit
Oh, I feel like
95.
maybe I don't
Go ahead.
95%. You just edit in the app. You
I
you
just
don't
edit on
even.
the app. Yeah, sure. If I was like doing YouTube, if I was doing YouTube, there's no, you could maybe make it work, but for the amount of editing that I would put into it, that the app would crash over and over again. So yeah, that's a tidbit for you.
Do you edit in CapCut?
No, there you go. That's
It's a
another
different
tidbit.
app.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a different
another
app.
tidbit for you.
Okay, I kind of thought maybe it might be CapCut. So do you use like are there templates on the app that give you the cool effects that you do?
No. So
So okay, here's an example. Your anime short where you like do lightning bolts.
yeah.
How the heck do you do that?
Okay. So because the app that I use has its limitations, you have to honestly, I kind of feel like that helps me a little bit in a sense because like I said last week where I'm really good at overthinking things and not knowing when to stop. If something
Hmm.
has its limitations, that means I have to get creative with what I have. So, I'll end up either I'll use GIFs. Or is it GIFs or GIFs? I feel like people
Oh,
always
you
come up with
pull
that.
in gifts?
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy.
I'll pull it. I will do that, or I'll make my own. I'll animate my own assets, and I do that in an app. I will say this one. This one is called an app called PixArt. So in that app, I anything that you see on screen, that is like just not directly tied to the video, or I'm making like an effect, or you can do so many things in that app, and it's amazing. It's a game changer, truly.
What the
Um,
heck, dude? I would have never ever guessed that you
yeah,
edited in an app. Because a lot of the stuff you do, like the anime lightning bolts or like anime eyes or whatever, all that stuff I'm envisioning through like Adobe Premiere. I'm envisioning through DaVinci Resolve,
mm,
through frick, I always forget Apples. And like if you're
yeah,
gonna do it like that through there, I'm just like, that's so freaking crazy. But using a GIF or like, yeah, animating something through an app, I can see how it makes a little bit more sense. But I just don't understand how you can edit the scope of the videos that you do to the keyframes that you do. And
dude.
yeah, like you're putting out good content on like a keyframe and editing on a phone. I'm not comprehending.
Dude, the future truly is now, and I can only really talk on like what I'm using per se, because like
Yeah.
I've used DaVinci Resolve, and you look at that, you are so, at least personally, if you don't know what you're doing, you're so overwhelmed. Of course, you can look at tutorials and whatnot, but I
Yeah.
will say what I use is the most user-friendly interface I've ever seen. I mean, it's not getting into like specific jargon. It's just saying this does this, and it's all like clear cut for you. It's great. It's great. It really is that, or you know, hot tip. So certain effects, if you're like, okay, maybe I can't like some things are so difficult to animate, you're like, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and pull like a transparent video of something and then overlay it and kind of like turn down the opacity. You just, yeah, just trying to get as creative as you can and just seeing like what
Totally.
works. Yeah.
Totally.
Why? What? I
Dude,
mean, you use
that's
DaVinci
wild.
Resolve, but like, I wouldn't say I'm a better editor than you. I think you're just real like, I think when people think about editing, they probably think about you in terms of disc golf content.
Maybe. I'd like to think so. But like in turn I guess I'm just talking. I thought you were doing all the animation and all that like stuff through like a web-based thing. And so now
No.
that I'm hearing that a little bit, I mean, I still think you're really good, and I think it's a good idea for you to gatekeep your app because it is the thing that sets you apart from a lot of people. And like, it's why you get to do another round stuff, and
Right.
why some of your reels do really well. So I think it's a good idea to gatekeep.
Well, the coolest part is
But
that
yeah.
the coolest part is that when he asked me, I use the exact same editing thing as Joseph does for another round. Because like prior,
So you told him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I use too."
yeah, exactly. Which
That's
I did
hilarious.
not expect that at all. Because I don't know anyone else that uses it. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people are because like Adobe and things like that are the standard. I think a lot of people are kind of like ashamed to share like what they're editing in because they're like at least okay. So if I apply this because I used to like help produce music back in my like hardcore scene days. And a lot of people are like, this is what the standard is. And if you use anything else, you're basically like,
You're bad.
yeah, you're bad, you're trash. And that's like such a terrible mindset to have. So I brought it over to this. And even coming out of this podcast, I was like, man, I, this is what I use, but like, I'm gonna get judged for it. But it's
Dude,
just,
I mean, I say it every time to whoever asks me about content. Make the content that you want to make, but just do it. Like whatever is the
Ooh.
easiest way to just go ahead and start, that's what you need to do. So if it's making it through an app, make it through the freaking app. I'm pretty sure Nice Michael, Nice Michael.
yes,
Yes, I'm pretty sure he just edits all of his videos in CapCut.
which is
Um,
cool.
yeah, totally cool. And he has millions of followers from editing through CapCut. I got into luckily I had a friend that knew DaVinci Resolve, so I started in DaVinci Resolve. Like that's not for everyone, and it literally took me. Yeah, go back and watch my first video, and then watch my last video, and look at all the different random edits that I do versus then, and hopefully in a year it'll be like, oh wow, his video a year ago had none of these edits as well. Like it's just what 1% better every day. That's the saying
Hmm.
or whatever, and so that's the goal. But editing in an app, maybe I'll try it out.
Yeah,
Maybe
man,
I
try
won't.
try it. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you behind the scenes. Like, I don't really care per se, I because I think at the end of the day, of course, anyone can edit, but that doesn't mean that no one is you per se. So like, they don't have your like idea about okay, I look at this stretch of video. What do I see here? Like, what do I want to do with this? Because even like some of the I've seen people like that just like a couple weeks ago, there was like an asset that I made for a video that someone took and they put in their own video. And I was like very clearly like, I know I'm not trying to be like, yeah, dude, I made this and I know I'm calling you out. It's like I could tell because I remember obviously I'm the one working on it and I seeing like the color of individual things where I'm like, okay, well, I can't quite do this. So yeah, kind of
How did they get it?
I assume they
They stripped it from yours, or
yeah, I assume it was just kind of like screen recording, probably, and then just like isolating it and whatnot.
dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, I mean it's yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. I'm sure that's just gonna
Yeah.
happen all the time.
Oh no, I mean, I can't tell you how many times my video has been reposted on another account. It's probably upwards of the 50s now, and I always get tagged in it, and it's like, oh, this is J-Milly's video, and I've just got like, honestly, at the beginning, even it was just like I don't care enough to like be like, this is my video, take it down. I think a few of
Hmm.
the videos where like there wasn't even credit, I just like, hey, this is my video, and
Yeah,
just
could we?
commented that. And then, and so now I'm just like, whatever, my stuff is still doing good.
Hmm.
Like I don't care if someone else also posts my stuff. That just means more people see my face and maybe want to watch this random guy that
Yeah.
makes silly disc golf videos, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it. But at the same time, can we talk about those accounts? Because there are
There's
accounts
so
that
many.
have like tens of thousands of followers, and people are like liking all of these things, and knowingly they steal videos from other accounts. Like I would see them all the time, and you look through and you see all these people that follow them that you know, and you're like, what? I get like maybe they're not thinking about the logistics, I assume. They're just seeing the content itself. But yeah,
Well, I see
that's
I see the appeal of it because it's like where is the well, I think another round wants to be this a little bit, but like in a more legit way where they reach out to someone and say, "Hey, can we repost this content?" And I think that's a
mm,
very good way to do it. But I think most people follow those accounts because it's like, where can I get like I want to follow disc golf specifically, anything interesting in disc golf and get it all conglomerated into one. Because, you know, my
mm,
video style is not for everyone, but if it is for someone, they probably still like a bunch of other stuff. And so it's either follow this account and get every single different, you know, update video about disc golf that's interesting, or follow every single person. But
mm.
if you're listening right now, we would encourage you to go to that account and follow the people that posted the video and then unfollow the main account.
Yeah, completely. Completely. Yeah, if you can't tell, I think all three of us in this podcast bring like specific dynamic to it. So I feel like with J-Milly and we both I would say that Ben more so it I don't want to say he enjoys the pro side more, but he likes to focus on it, I think a little bit more than we do.
Yeah.
Truthfully, on the weekends. I will like check out some clips and whatnot, but I'm not sitting down and watching every single round. You know, like you have things that you want to do on the weekend. Like we both work day jobs still, and hopefully we can get into that just like a little bit, kind of like who we are outside of disc golf stuff, just to share that. But yeah, I think we definitely really enjoy the like creation side of it and talking
Yep.
about that,
Yep.
and so you're probably gonna get a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
that today.
Well, Ben is you know, in staggered stance and staggered stance. Well, actually, I've still never listened to an episode of
Really?
staggered stance. Yeah, not a single one.
They're
But
long.
from my understanding is they do a lot of pro stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah, and
focus on the
and so
pros.
yeah, so you know what, Ben's been doing that for years, maybe a while,
Yeah, 2, 3 years,
and
something like that.
all they talk about is pro stuff. So I'm not surprised at all that Ben loves talking about the pro stuff. And yeah, like Sacco said, I'm the same way. Like I keep up with it. Like I'm on PDGA Live checking it out. I'm watching highlights. I'm occasionally logging on to DGN and
Mm,
watching it. But honestly, for the most part, my weekends are filled with playing my own tournaments or filming a disc golf video or
hmm.
XY watching the Mavs lose to the Celtics, you know? And
Sounds
so
fun.
yeah, so fun, dude. It was such a good time. Um yeah, Sacco and I, we are definitely more into the creative side. Like I don't watch well, I watch all of Simon's videos, but other than that, I don't really watch a ton of like pro content. I don't even really
Hmm.
consider Alden's uh content pro content because it's just fun vlog
For
story
sure.
esque, you know. But
Yeah, I'm at a
yeah,
point
I
now.
lean into story for sure, not
Yeah, yeah.
crazy
Ex
disc golf.
I'm at a point now where I think last week was my quickest week I've ever experienced in my life. Because if I'm editing for this or my personal stuff or another round stuff, like by the time I look up, I'm like, oh, it's 3 p.m.
Yeah,
So you're like spending so much time, or like I'm coming up with ideas of like, okay, what can I go out? Like I got to go record some stuff. And
yeah,
by the time you're done, you're like, I don't really want to watch like any disc golf YouTube or anything.
true,
Because
true.
I've already seen it all day. I still love it and I enjoy what the creators do. But yeah, I'm not watching it as much, just like trying to spend time with my wife at night, just like things like that you still
Facts,
have to do.
facts. Not have to do, want to do. Sacco, come on.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
horrible. I'm so sorry. I do want to do, but I'm just saying, like there are other things
I know, I'm just
yeah,
messing.
other things outside that were like, life is not disc golf, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Luckily, you only have one J-Milly video that you have to watch a month, so it shouldn't take up too much time for you.
Yeah, that's when I log in. All right, I have a couple of
Yeah.
icebreakers.
Wait, do your life updates first.
Oh yeah, that would help. Just so you guys know, it will be a little bit of a probably like a shorter episode today. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
We'll
my
see.
life updates, like I said, quickest week ever. Yesterday was 1 week of me creating and uploading content for another round, which is kind of wild.
Huge.
So just being, it's just been very, very busy. It's like when I'm not doing that, I'm going into work and then coming home. It's just like the same cycle each day. I
Dude, I
recognize,
know the vibes, man. I know the vibes.
yeah, honestly, when I sympathize with what Broderick said when he came on, where he's like, what I'm doing now is not necessarily sustainable. And I kind of feel the same way where I'm like, I'm just in grind mode right now and
I'm in grind mode too.
hoping that it pays off. I mean, that's
Hmm.
really what it comes down to, where it's like I'm putting in a bunch of work now and hoping that something comes of it. Because, I mean, what else can you do? Of course, you can look back and be like, I'm glad I did that. But in the moment, you're like, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, it's hard because, work a 40-hour work week at your regular job. And then, sometimes for me, it's another 40 hours of YouTube on top of that. It's
Yeah,
like, dude,
exactly.
80-hour work weeks, not necessarily the most enjoyable stuff.
Yeah,
Granted, disc golf content is pretty awesome and fun, but it still works
of
sometimes,
course. Of
when you're in the
course.
throes of an edit. I had a question though to go along with that.
Mhm.
What did the time commitment look like for an everyday post on another round?
So I'm trying to think. So Joseph said that typically it takes him like 15 minutes, let's say, per like clip that he does.
Yeah.
Uh, Personally, I was taking a little bit more time because I was trying to do like I wanted to like make something good that I'm putting out there to kind of like prove myself a little bit at first.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
wasn't necessarily just spending 15 minutes. I was going a little over, but that's okay. I'm willing to take that time to do that. But
Hmm.
right now it's I mean per video it's probably like half hour or so. Like I was pretty stoked on the I don't know if people saw actually I guess I did a couple edits with Jake Wolf, but the one that I just ended up posting like a day or two ago from the Beaver State Fling, I was pretty stoked on.
The red one where it like flashed red. Is that what
Yeah,
you're talking about?
exactly. Where it kind of appears like a HUD, like the
Yes. Yeah,
HED
that
HUD
was
on
sick.
like a
Yeah.
uh what is it called? A jet. Dude, my brain is fried right now on a jet. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So that takes like
Yeah,
a little
dude,
bit
that
more
one was
time,
awesome.
but yeah, little give and take. Just I do look forward to it. It is weird because I wasn't really used to posting at night, and now I have an alarm set where I'm like, okay, like sign in, like start uploading and doing like a little bit of editing in the app, and boom,
Yeah,
upload.
totally. Can you do you have a number, or do you not think that it's like,
Oh wait, a
I don't
number
know, put
four.
it like time commitment? Like you did 7 posts this
Oh,
week.
in total?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, I mean, we'll say like a half hour times seven. So what is that, like 3.5 hours?
That's not bad. That's not
No,
bad.
it's really not that bad. It's just kind of like I said, I
But
have
also,
like
you're still trying to do a post every day for you, right?
yeah, I'm still doing stuff
So
for
yeah, that gets a little
like I said,
dicey.
yeah, not sustainable, but I'm just in grind mode right now, man. I mean, for my
Yeah,
stuff personally, I'm not trying to I would like to upload every day and I am striving to, but if I miss a day, it's okay. Like
yeah.
it's really okay.
Well, that's kind of me too. Like right now, I got to post a short every week. And a short for me takes upwards of one short usually takes about 10 hours probably just in filming, scripting, editing, everything. And
Wow.
so it takes a while to still do it. And at one point it was like every Monday I post a short. And then it turned into like I just got to get a short in that week. And
Hmm.
I've kind of said like at one point I was like, if I have a short done, I'm just gonna post it. And then there was one week where I posted like 2 or 3 shorts because I just was in that mindset. And then I didn't post a short for like a week or two because I kind of burned myself out. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just start like finishing shorts. And then like if I need to have that buffer, I have it ready.
Hmm.
Like the short I posted today, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but or for whoever's listening, it would have been yesterday on Monday. Is I tried to roll the floppy disks that
Dude, I
I
saw.
like. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I finished that edit like last Thursday. Um, so I could have posted 2 shorts last week, but I was just like, nah. Like
It's
I need to
tempting.
like I need to have a sustainable, like a more sustainable schedule. Like if I could get ahead where I just have 5 shorts banked and it's like, boom, I can just post those like weekly. It'd make it way easier on me, like to make full length content, because full length content takes me like 40 hours to make a full length video. Like that's a beast.
Yeah,
So
there's I won't say their name because like they told me, but there's an Instagram like content creator for disc golf that they have like all of their reels set like a month out, and they just have like the drafts saved in Instagram, just ready to go. So kind of wild.
that is wild. I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't want to get too much in the habit of that because there could be an occurrence where I try something new on a short
Mhm.
and like I want to see how that, like how the audience reacts to that. And if I try something new and it fails and the next 5 shorts have that exact same thing, then
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, no one liked that in the first place. Like, didn't Foundation, they got like a ton of flack. Um, do you keep up with Foundation at all or no?
Yeah, I feel like if there is a channel that I watch, it's probably Foundation, your stuff, some a little Robbie Seed, just kind of whatever I can
Yeah.
watch.
Well, they got a ton of flack because last year for their little tour, what was it called? West Coast
Oh,
Tour.
yes.
They recorded all of their monthly matches and then posted them throughout the year. And I think they got a ton of hate for that. Which, if I post a short and you can see a timestamp and it was made 2 months ago, I don't think it'll have the same effect because it's a little different, but people might be like, brother, you posted that forever.
Yeah,
Like
I
you filmed
started
this forever ago.
I started doing that even like this morning. I went out and I went to go like record some stuff that I'll probably edit today and like the next couple of days. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing the same thing in like multiple things. Like
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
a creator that will switch their shirt, like what they're wearing between videos, even though they're just recording them all at the same time.
Dude, I will do that. If I'm gonna film 2 shorts at once, I don't want to be wearing the same thing.
Oh yeah,
I
dude,
don't I don't
I'm a
usually do
scrub.
that. I don't usually do that because most of the time if I'm trying to film a short, it's gonna take me so long that it's just too much of a time commitment for me to
Right.
try to film another one right after. But
Hmm.
if I'm gonna film two, like I change my clothes. Like I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like for my full length videos, it takes me 40 hours to record. If I'm doing VO and like I'm still in the throes of the edit trying to put the story together, I will, well actually, if we're going to post a video, these clothes right here are the VO clothes for one of the videos I'm working on because like I don't want every time I'm like doing VO to the camera to be in a different outfit and you're like, what the heck? Why? Like the continuity just like wouldn't make sense for me in my head,
Right.
like no one would care probably, but I care. So
Oh, I can guarantee there are people that will like pick that out and just like make a problem out of nothing. I'm sure. Yeah, it's like it's all the little tiny things that you have to think about. Like perfect example. So I did that like one sidearm short like a few days ago,
yeah,
and like the whole point of it is I took like the UDisc reading for like what the distance was, and I edited out what the distance was, and I put in who cares because
yes,
at the same time it's like sure like you can sidearm, but at the same time like it doesn't matter. It I mean just yeah whatever. But the plastic,
the
so
plastic, yeah,
I threw a D3 in 500 plastic. I didn't even think about this when I edited it. And people saw the 500 next to the D3 and they were calling me out saying that like, actually, according to my calculations,
a
like there's
baseball field.
yeah, a baseball field is only this length. And they were like mad because I was claiming that I threw 500 feet. So that's just okay, just to set the record straight, I wasn't claiming that. It was just to like to point towards the joke. I feel like if people
Mm-hmm.
measure stuff on UDisc, they usually are maybe I'm just assuming that it's kind of like up in that left-hand corner. Didn't even think about like that's a detail. The plastic type being 500, didn't even think about it
Yeah,
like people mistaking that.
yeah.
Yeah. So like sometimes it's like, well,
500 is that distance where everyone gets mad if you claim you got 500.
I know.
Even
Uh
400 is one of them too.
I
Both of
know. Like
those.
there's certain numbers that we as disc golfers are just so tuned in on. Very strange.
So odd things.
Yeah, kind of strange. We haven't looked at our notes this whole time. And like I said, I think this will
No.
be like a little bit of a shorter podcast, so we'll probably be wrapping up like a little bit. I guess we'll save all these for next time when Ben is
Yeah,
actually on.
dude, I
Uh,
think they're pretty good stuff. So I'm
yeah,
excited to talk about this.
I do want to. So I did have one final question to close. So since Ben isn't here, love him to pieces. I mean, if you ever had to talk about anything or needed help with anything, he would be your guy. He would help you out. But I wanted to ask, what is your like oddest experience with Ben, or like what is the weirdest thing he's ever said? I think that'd
Oh
be such a
gosh.
funny thing to talk about. Because like, dude, he's such a quirky individual. Like like I said, love him to pieces. But sometimes he says things like, what did he say last week? I think he said something like, "Oh, the feeling of when I had my expo." He's like, oh, it's like I did drugs, like the feeling of being on
Oh
drug."
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ben's the definition. Like, I feel like I'm like this, where well, first of all, I'm a verbal processor, so
Mm,
most of the time, whatever's coming into my head, I'm saying. But I
mm.
have a filter. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I won't say. Ben, like, his filter is like even farther away from being a filter. Like if he's thinking it, he's gonna say it. Like, you could probably clip together like 4 or 5 clips of him just busting into a song for far longer than he needs to in the
Yeah.
podcast. But honestly, before the podcast, I didn't have like a ton of interactions with Ben, like a few on Insta, and then he messaged me about doing the podcast, and I was like, you're cool. I've seen you on Simon's vlogs, and
Hmm.
no, you do cool stuff. Seen your videos, and I was like, he seemed just awesome. But then I met him in person, and I don't know. Yeah, like he was what I expected. Like Ben is just silly, goofy, like to the max. Like I consider myself silly, goofy, but Ben's like even farther more silly, goofy. Um,
But he does
and
it he does it with a straight face. So I don't know if
true,
you've recognized this. He does it like so me as an individual, I wear like my emotions on my face. Like I'm a very expressive individual. And I feel
yeah,
like so to interact with someone that is not very expressive is so strange in like a sense because you're like, I can't tell. Is he joking with me? Like if you don't know Ben, you're like, is he joking with me? I can't tell. But then most of the
yeah,
time, yes, yes, he generally is joking with you.
uh huh. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't have one specific thing that is like in my head where I'm like, oh gosh, I can't believe Ben did this. So lame, but that's my Ben take. Ben's awesome. Love him, but
Love him. We miss him. We just wish he didn't give us last second notice that
crazy
he's not going to
man.
be on the podcast. He will be back next week. We assume. We assume. Um,
He might be in Virginia still.
dude.
Maybe he'll move West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, we apologize. It'll be a little bit of a shorter podcast, like I said. So I think we're just gonna wrap up at this point. I think we're probably like almost 40 minutes in. So we didn't want, like we said, didn't want to go without another podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed basically us talking about editing.
Yeah, we'll talk about Beaver State Fling next week. Just combine it, put it all together, and then all the stuff we had prepared for this week that we didn't talk about, we'll move it to next week. So
Exactly.
look forward to that. It'll be a good time. We didn't want Ben to miss out.
Yeah.
But yeah, comment down below if you want to see more Sacco and Millie, Sacco Millie Sacco combo podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, dude, exactly. Yeah. The duo that no one asked for, but they're like, oh, hold up. Yo, let me get some more of that.
Ugh, this is fire.
Sweet. All right. Thank you guys. Funzy out.
Bye.